Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Guys, today I am going to be doing a long-awaited story time while eating some homemade fish pie. So yeah, bear with me. I've got my fish pie which I am going to be plating up, and I've got a bit of tomatoes and some water. So you know, wanted to do this story for a while now, and basically I kind of forgotten. My subscribers reminded me. Hey Safi. Yeah, so I really appreciate that. You know, two of my subscribers mainly comment on my videos, which helps tremendously, and I really appreciate you guys. Keep going and to keep me a bit motivated, even though I still will keep going, but you know, I'm not gonna lie, it really helps. So I'd appreciate if you guys out there try and, you know, say one and two little things to me, you know, because I'm aware that I've got a good amount of audience, which I really appreciate. And I know it's not everybody's gonna comment, because I watch other people's stuff sometimes and all the time you feel like commenting, but I'd really appreciate if you guys would comment. So you know, it's been a busy few weeks. I'm just here. If you guys haven't seen me made any videos and stuff like that, I'm just like really trying to sort my house out and stuff like that, because ever since I've been away last year October and come back, I've kind of like, you know, you do your tidying up and stuff, but it was so unorganized. There's so much stuff that I needed doing. So basically at the moment I'm just like in the process of doing it, like decluttering, sorting the kids' room so it's a bit more pretty looking for them, and just, you know, right at the moment I'm in a room where it's kind of studio stroke everything, where hasn't got a bite in the city basically, and there was a lot of laundry clothes and stuff like that. So I'm just working my way through trying to get my life a bit more organized and sorted out. So you know, yeah, that's what I've been up to. So I am going to talk a bit about when I moved from London, because I'm originally from London. That's the first place I came when I actually, let me just quickly go ahead and do my prayer. Bless my food. Thank you, Father God, for providing me with this food, Lord. Help it to nourish me in the right way. Bless it, Lord. I really appreciate it. It's in your Son Jesus' name I pray, amen. Yeah. So, been wanting to make this fish pie. Seems like forever. But yeah, as I've said in previous videos, I always seem to be wanting to move after a while, and I really had the urge like to move when I start having my kids, like really bad. I've always wanted to move, but the urge come really bad, and there's about 3 or so reasons behind it, maybe more, not less, but 3 at least reason behind me moving from London to Basingstoke. And yeah, and I'm going to tell you the pros and the cons of living in both areas. You know, not bashing London, I'm not bashing Basingstoke, I'm just telling you the pros and the cons and the realisticness and the way I saw things and how I felt, why I decided to move. Yeah, so one of the reasons, before I go off track, is I live what I'd say very central in London. I used to live in Brixton Hill in London. That's like my first ever place that, because I've said previously I've had 2 places that I could call my home, and that's the first ever home that was mine in London that I was in charge of basically. And yeah, very nice home, Victorian house, and I got that home from one of my first my first pregnancies, which I'll go on that topic another time. So that's how I got that home, because I was pregnant, and I put in to move out my family home, parents' home, and stuff like that. And I've went and looked at properties. My mum was very much a part of the decision of where I'd move at that time, because I was still pretty young and would listen. Over 20 to be fair, but you know, we were quite close-knit at that time. Had high-rise building, has somewhere where there's no proper door to say that's a feature of the house. Those are the choices. And then the next choices was, because we refused 2 places, and then the third place was one I stuck with, which was really nice. Victorian property, very big. It was like a big house turned into 2 flats, and I was on the upstairs flat. And yeah, that was my first home. Very lovely home. Like I said, my personality before, really jolly, really friendly, really bubbly, and I'll give away my heart. So, you know, and I never knew the seriousness of saving and money and stuff like that, because it's not a topic that, you know, I'm not blaming anybody for that, but it's just not a topic. Like I said, the way I brought up was like, you have it, when you have it, it's there, when it's not there, it's not there. Wasn't something that we dwell on the fact when it's not there. So that's probably why I was very happy-go-lucky, very jovial. So, you know, I work, pay the bill, sometimes don't pay the bill, the list goes on. That's me. But I used to, like, my spot was like the spot, because as I said, I will go into details on when I was pregnant, but that baby didn't survive, you know. I'll go into that at another time. So they still gave me the house. The house was mine, and it was a 2-bedroom, because it was based on the fact that I was going to have a child, and that child was going to go into the you know, 1 bedroom was going to be mine, and the next one going to be the child's room. So they didn't trouble me to say, oh, Miss Reed, you need to leave this property. Those days things were a lot easier, a lot better, etc. So they left me to it, and I was in control of that house. And used to cook a lot of meals, because, you know, like I said, catering was one of my passion. It bothers me now, but those days it never bothered me. It came so easy to me to toss up a meal. It was just like I said, growing up back home in Jamaica, it was the done thing. You toss up a meal, bang bang. Thank you, Sam. It's nothing that used to annoy me, which it does now sometimes. I used to cook a lot of food in that house, a lot of food. My friends used to be the spot, because, you know, end of the day, there was no baby in the end, so it was like a meeting up spot. I had times when my nephew used to live with me. One of my nephews lived with me and stuff like that in the spare room. And there's a lot of happy memories. But, you know, I used to help out a lot, the families, babysitting, this, that. When it comes to anybody after leaving their job, I'll put my hand up, because I never really had any responsibility. You know, I went through my hard times, tough times, which I was going to another time, but I was very much like the one that they could call on to do the get up and go stuff, dropping whatever, blah blah blah, and stuff like that. You know, sometimes I thought, yeah, I'm ready to get serious now, so I'll try to move. Then if I'm in any difficulty, because sometimes one of the reasons why I wanted to move is probably like backed up on rent and just want to change the scenery, pressures on me, blah 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 blah. Then family would help me, and I'll end up right back into my same house, because this helped to sort out the issues with, whether it be financial wise, or when I put my request across to say the reason why I probably don't bother keeping to the decision of moving away, they've agreed to the terms and condition, and I'll be right back there, kind of thing. So, you know, and then wherever I moved to and was going to transition into a new place, that never ended up happening and stuff like that. But you know, when I start having kids, I had my eldest. It's a bit confusing, but it probably makes sense. So those are my new subscribers or new people that's going to be watching. I've had 6 pregnancy and I've got 4 children to show off. So I'll talk about that as I go along in other videos, just to kind of catch up who's a little bit lost. But yeah. So, like I said, very much from my family, you know, even if I'm helping out babysitting, end up the kids to stay at mine and blah, blah, blah. Well, sometimes I'd be a little bit ticked off because I'd want to hang out with my friends. Sometimes I have to kind of like work around it and like take the kids along if I'm even going to a party. Sometimes if I'm going to friends invite me out to a party, I take the kids along with me and stuff like that. Sometimes on the weekends as well, I take my family children along with me, and you know, we make it work. And sometimes I'll be a little bit ticked off, but sometimes I'll say, sometimes I don't say. And I was very much like a yes, 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 yes person. When my kids come along, my first son, I had him at 28. When he came along, it was very much like, oh wow, it's kind of a bit change. All his attention's kind of gone to that son now. So I still help out, but maybe not be like as 100% because I'm starting having my own responsibilities and stuff. And I hear things like, oh, Auntie Rose, you can come, but you know, my child can't come. So I'm thinking, where I'm going to leave him? What kind of, you know, but it was children that would say things like that, and they never understood at the time. And I'm thinking, so you kind of feel like when you start having kids now, that's kind of like start affecting the situation. I'm not as accessible, etc. And my kid's dad wasn't very stable. When it's good, he's probably more likely to be around. I wasn't easy to get on with. Along with, so that was very much his excuse. As soon as if there's a problem and I've started arguing and stuff like that, it was a case of him exiting. Or sometimes when we have arguments and stuff, he'd take the easy way out, disappear for however long he wanted to disappear for not keeping up to any responsibility. He wasn't a father figure that would know that kids need pampers. I'm jumping the gun a bit in that sense, but like when we were together, it wasn't a case of, oh, whether they need pampers or not. If we have an argument, that those things was still filled. I was very much the one that was the main caregiver for the kids from very early on. The 3 of the kids, my first set of kids, they belonged to him, apart from the other 2 that there's question sign that I'll talk about in the future. But yeah, 3 out of the 4 that I have belong to him, basically. So it wasn't a case of like he was reliable, I could depend on him to say, oh, he's going to help me with his kids. So regardless of our differences, he can be relied on. When I want to move, I kind of just have to think in my mind that it's going to be down to me. So basically, one of the first reasons I wanted to move was like my house was a pit stop where everybody can come to, and I felt a bit pressured. And sometimes you don't want to see people, you haven't got no choice. The doorbell will ring, people turn up, the list goes on. You know, it was a lot for me to cope with. Many used me in the sense that at the time I kind of knew, but it wasn't a major issue, but I still was suffocated and wanted to get away, because it's like, okay, I could probably not, like somebody else could probably not cook at their house, but they know they could come and eat at mine. And I've always kind of have a kind of like what would you call it, a very warm, welcoming hospitality type of thing with myself. If I'm offering you something, it's not like I'm thinking, but you know, when it adds up, you're gonna have to kind of sit back and think, okay, you know, you're providing all of these things, they're getting on with their business, they're doing, accomplishing what they need, they need to be accomplishing, and I'm always gonna be feeling left back, basically. So that was one of the reasons. My house was a local pit stop and I wanted to move. When I started having the kids, after my first child and then after my second child, it started being harder and harder on my mind that I want to move, I want to move, especially when the first child was growing up, getting to the stage of a school stage. I'm thinking, I'm not rich, I haven't got money, I haven't got a partner to support me at that time, in that sense, to say, oh, I'm going to send my kids to a private school. Brixton was okay, but when I was sending him to school, one point he was used to stay in Jamaica for little periods of time with my mom. When he came back to go to school, he ended up in a school that I didn't deem as the appropriate school for him, because I'm very picky when it comes to things that I open my kids to. It was more of like a school where I would deem as bottom of the pile, and he had to go there for a period of time when I had to kind of like take him out and create a massive fuss and plead to anybody that would listen to me to move him into a better school, which ended up happening in the end. So, you know, those things was like on my heart. And so the school was one of the main things. I'm thinking, I don't want them to go to school there. I kind of wanted them to go out of London to go to a school where I'd think, in my mind at the time, the odds are better, basically, if that makes sense. So, you know, after having the freedom, in the end, I was looking to transfer from that house to a different house. It was posed tricky. I've been to another house before, I didn't like it. It was out where it came across like I was very aware that I'd be very, very vulnerable with my 3 kids there. I came here as well, where I am at now. I came and, you know, it was very much a case of, it was 3-4 people that came to view the property at once here. And I didn't mind that it was very much away, far, because I looked far. Because if I didn't want to like view all the way from London to Basingstoke, I wouldn't be looking in that area. So I was looking to get out. But when I came here, I kind of do things and I kind of go off energy. And my energy, I wasn't screaming, oh yeah, I'm going to take this place. My energy didn't feel right to say, oh yeah, this is the home for me. But then everybody was very excited. Out of the 4 of us was very excited about the house and wanted it. And then the man turned around and goes, oh, I've got first choice. I was first in the lineup, so I've got first refusal, basically. And all of a sudden, my eyes glossed over, and I'm like, okay, all right, I'm gonna take it, kind of thing. So it wasn't, you know, like normally I kind of go off when you have that yes feeling, like you just know. That's how I am. You just know that that's for you. Originally, that's not the sense I had when I came here. I just took it because I was first in line. I wanted to get away, etc. So even now, sometimes I kind of want to move away, but I kind of like hoping that I'll make the right decision, not based on the fact that I want to move away, but based on the fact that it feels right. So, I ended up taking this place. The third thing is just the yearn of always seem to want to move away. You know, and I feel like I've done my time there, and like I've kind of outgrown the lifestyle. You know, the lifestyle, I feel like some would say, oh yeah, you're acting like you're better than, it's not that. Like, I feel like even with my friends, like, you know, if they have a problem with me, sometimes it'll seem like they can't come to me and say, oh Rose, I've got a problem with you, this, that and the next. I used to go around and finding out things about my friends, which I'll go into another time, and sometimes I'll try and tell them. Instead of them saying to me, oh Rose, I don't want to know X, Y and Z, they pretend that it's not happening, or I've got the incorrect information. You know, all in all, if they'd come to me and say, Rose, you know, I don't want to know this information, can you not? I would have like backed off. But it wasn't a done thing where they say, oh, I don't want to know the information, which you understand why I touch on this topic at that time. And I kind of feel like if I do something which they deem inappropriate or not right, they can easily say to me, oh, Rosemary, I didn't like that, you know, and I know I'd change, because I was very much the type of person as well, like, if there's something going on in my life, I was very honest and open about it, you know, but they were very much secretive and covered up about it. Even looking back now, it's more so than staring me right in my face, and I'm like, I still can't understand, because, and the same thing's happening even now in some cases. So I don't really understand. That's why I'm not as open as I used to be. I'm very closed off to it. I'm very boxed in, and I'll get judged and, oh, this person don't want to do this, don't want to do that, and they find reason like you should open yourself to those things, which it's not going to end very well for you, and you're not going to feel very good about yourself. So why would you want to be open to those things? You know what I'm saying? So I kind of just accept things for what it is, because yeah, that's very much, and that's how I ended up moving to Basingstoke. I just wanted my kids to go to like better schools that, because sometimes in London it can be quite violent, you know. But then, like, moving to Basingstoke now, I realised that even though I know the grass is not always greener, because I come here and there's so much other things that I wouldn't say I wish I stayed in London. No way. And I wouldn't move back to London. But now I see that there's problems everywhere. You know what I mean? That's why I say I wouldn't rush to move elsewhere, because anywhere you go, there's going to always be problem. It might not be the same problem, but there's problem. And sometimes it can be even more so. And I've realized that, pardon, I have dodged the bullet by moving out of London, but I also come into my own bullets by moving into Basingstoke. The pros about living in London is the fact that they're very much multicultural. London is very much diverse. It's very mixed. You don't really, you'll come across a bit of racism or feel a little bit out of place, but very, very rare. You know what I mean? Like, and especially where we live, like, it's very mixed, and I felt at home. I didn't feel out of place. You know, I had my time when I was younger, growing up in London, where I felt out of place, but that was in, like, coming through school. But then after a while, it kind of like wasn't an issue. It just didn't feel like an issue at the time. You know, you go to the doctors, you feel like you get fair treatment. They were very much aware of, like, especially if you make a fuss, and sometimes I do. But yeah, especially if you make a fuss, they very much keep account, and they're very much aware. I feel like they treat you reasonable. You know, it might not be the best, but it was reasonable. So, and you can find your food. You know, you find your food. Anything you want to eat is there for you to eat. It might not be at the, say, the 100 standard that you'd get from coming from a Caribbean country, but it's very much to a high standard, because it's so diverse. People kick up a stink if their chicken is not fried properly, all of these things. Which in Basingstoke, I feel like in, like, the catering field, they very much, I don't know how they keep a business running, because they don't cater for an overall base. And, you know, in the UK, you find some complain more than others, and I feel like it's probably like the diverse side that complains more. British is much more like, they don't really complain. It's like stiff upper lip, make a cup of tea, and try to move on. So me now, even living in Basingstoke, where I constantly complain, I constantly speak about the things that I see that's not appropriate or shouldn't be done, and all of these things, are very much quite open and speak about those things. Bottom line is, I was very much a single person, single mom with 3 children, and I just took the plunge and just decided that I'll probably end up making a better decision because I won't have anyone to turn to by moving. And I think I kind of wanted to try and put my energy into my kids instead of spreading it thin, because what was happening is I was helping everyone, and it's not like I didn't get help from others, but 90 so much % of the time I was pretty much doing all of it for my family, basically. So when I look at that ratio, I knew it wasn't fair, you know? And I wanted my kids to have good education, which, like I was saying, the infant and the primary school, which now is all in one. In terms of like education, I can't really fault them, because, not to brag or anything like that, the kids pretty much know what a 2 parents family would know, child would know, if you know what I mean. So, and with their primary school, like the head of the primary, I couldn't ask a better one, better head. Secondary school, the head of it changed so many times, I couldn't just hope for the best, you know. My troubles in Basingstoke, or my stress in Basingstoke was based on when I come here, they think I must have dropped out of the sky and landed here with my 3 children. Chili Rose! The music! You know? That would be other topics, because I've been through it. Even in regards to like feeling like I'm back at school, even though it's my kids that's going to school. What's affected me for the last so many years since I have children is mostly having to balance things out and cope with all the things that goes on with them going to school and all the negative side of it. But you know, all I want is the best of my kids, and them to know that, you know, I never used to really go into things, but I have talked to my kids way more than my mum talked to me about why I'm a certain way. Like I said, Brixton is very diverse. This video is going to be probably long because one of my memory cards said that there was no memory on it, so I'll try condense it as best as I can. But in Brixton, I think you could get away with trying to discipline your child more and stuff like that. There's a little bit more up here. You want to discipline your kids, you hear all sorts. I don't think like my kids just randomly get up and said, oh, I want to go out. Plan, you know, plan. And those are things that really, and come back at the time that I said you should come back. Have a bit of respect, and you start doing things how you want to do it. All hell will break loose, and then who's gonna be getting the brunt of that? Me as a parent. I need to end this video here, guys, because I've been trying to do it for a while and I can hear my son getting really restless, so, and he's just come out of not being well, so I'm gonna have to end here and go and look after him. But there's pros and cons of moving anywhere. Do I have any regrets? No. If I have to go and redo it again, yes, I'll do it again, because I experienced that moving out of London was the best thing for me. And even though it has other disadvantages by moving into Basingstoke, I have no regrets at all. Basingstoke has taught me a lot. You know, I've learned a lot in London, but Basingstoke has taught me a lot. It's taught me staying power. It's taught me to, you know, even though sometimes you might feel like you want to hold down your head when you're walking, based on the fact that you speak your mind and, you know, it's there for other people to view it. I see that I have to try and continue to be the voice, because loads of people want to talk and they're boxed in, they're trapped in and feeling like they can't speak because they're being more of a victim, if you know what I mean. And I've found out that parents, society, they're not telling their kids when they're wrong, and they're not telling, like, putting boundaries, and then, you know, and they're going through torture as well. One, they're not telling. Two, they probably can't tell them, because I've faced the brunt of when I say no. You know, it's like they want to have me at a place where I cannot say no, my own kids. So I can just imagine, and I've heard stories and seen how other children behave, stuff like that. Pardon. And like, I always beat my chest and say, I can't see how it's going to be like that. All the stress is on the parents and all of it, and then the kids do what they want to do. Well, I tell mines, you open that door and go out, and I never give you leave to go. You're going to have consequences about that. And then, in the sense that you might come back and you not see me, I will go do a bit of time in jail then, if that's what you want to do. Because after I stress myself out trying to grow you the right way, you want to go do the wrong way. When the police come and tracking me down to say, oh, you've abandoned your child and this, that, and so, well, he's allowed to go off and do what he want to do. I'll go off and do what I want to do. You might have to boil down to that, because I've kind of like taken up a kind of tough love approach to the whole thing. Because even in saying that, I feel like sometimes you're going through life, if somebody corrected you, you probably would be even better off than you are, kind of thing. And I'm trying to correct mine. You know, some might see it as, oh, sometimes the kids will knock on the door. I see another kids that's from the neighborhood who go, oh, he won't be allowed out. No, because you go out there, next minute you know, fussing and people messaging me this, that, and or people coming knocking on my door, my kid done this, my kid done that, which they go out very few and far between. So I'd rather they go further afield in a way. And number two, like, it's not like I really care, because I know my children, I know the people that's coming to complain, but I'd rather not hear it. I'd rather not hear it, you know. So if that's what it's boiled down to, sometimes they will not go out and play, or they won't go out and play every day. I'll tell them when they can go and have a bit of fresh air and go out and play, because the backlash of that, it's not worth my time. And I have to start getting thick skin and don't really give a monkey's what anyone think of me. And the funniest thing, like I said, this video is long. I hope this answers you guys' question, and especially you, Sophia, why I made a transition from London to Basingstoke. Anywhere you go in life, you're going to find your advantages and disadvantages, bottom line. But I really haven't got any regrets. I'm more probably transition of moving on. Sometimes I feel like it's not the right time, you know, because when it doesn't come easy, you have to kind of wonder whether it's the right time and all the rest of it. But all the hard times, I really have no regrets. This fresh fish pie was amazing. It was a struggle to eat it while I'm talking. And not normally is, but I kind of wanted to focus on what the topic I was talking about. You know, it's just, I think, you cannot predict how somewhere going to be when you move there, especially when it's far afield from where you were, kind of thing. And whether it's been changing countries, changing areas, etc. There's loads of pros and cons, and you just have to try your best and how to maneuver in those situations. That's all I can say. And you know, I don't know if it's in the Bible or it's a saying, but I can remember distinctively this thing. They say if you're on a track and it's not running smooth, you can change track. Just jump off, change track. And I'm very much a believer in that. I'm not gonna stay somewhere with like a detriment to me or my kids or whatever. But I'm also not quick to run from my problems like I think when I was younger. You know, I might not want to deal with it in terms of thinking, yeah, that's a waste of time, I could have done without that problem. Yeah, I've still got that kind of attitude. But if I really have to face it, I'm not as, you know, and I try my best to clear, not having nobody accusing me of owing this or owing that or whatever. I try my best. Them things, you know. And I've changed a lot since I've moved. It might not be better for some, but sure is it better for me. So, all in all, I think in life, you have to try your best to be happy with your decision making, your life. You know, because at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to have to give account. You're the one that's going to have to deal with whatever memories and stuff like that comes forward to you and all the rest of it. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Guys, you know, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, share these videos, because I just want to keep growing my channel. I want to keep... There's loads of different things coming on this channel. But like I said, at this time in my life, I'm trying to declutter. I'm trying to make room for blessings to pour in. You know, when everything is disorganized and kind of confusing, you starting off with a rough time. So you just have to try and improve. And sometimes it might take a little while, but I'm hoping that as time goes by, I'll continue on and I'll make different videos and try and share my experiences and hope that it can help somebody else. And I hope you guys, you know, always continue to give feedbacks and stuff like that. And really appreciate all the love, support that I've been getting through this channel, and it has helped me to share my stories. So I really appreciate, especially when I've been reminded to do this video. And you know, as I talk about stuff, it's like a puzzle. It's so weird. As I talk about stuff, it's like that puzzle. I find a fit, slot it in, you know. So it really helped. Look after you. If you don't look after you, can't look after anyone else. Peace.